I'm Nadia. Welcome to my YouTube. For a while, I've been thinking about maybe starting this and doing some dance content, some travel content, and some lifestyle content, but it's been floating in the air for a long time. So this is our first video. We'll see what happens. Today, I'd like to show what kind of shoes I wear as a professional dancer. I have lots of different options, as you'll see. So I thought I'd take you along and show you. When I go to auditions, I carry so many shoes in my bag. So many shoes. I always like to make sure I have plenty of options because when you're at an audition or at a dance call, you just truly never know what they're gonna ask you to do. So it's good to be prepared. Without further ado, here are the shoes. Starting with a classic, these Laducas are hands down my favorite. A lot of people like different straps for the Laduca. This personally is my favorite strap. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's Signy Alexis. I love this one because it gives me the most ankle support. I did sprain my ankle like a couple years ago and my turns have never been the same since, but I feel like this is like the most supportive shoe for me, and I have two pairs of these. So I have those, and then I have these ones, same shoe. Side note for the dancers that get it, or those of you that don't. So here's my old ones. Right? I got these in like, I don't know, 2019 maybe. Here are my new ones. And look at that wear and tear. The leather is just so scuffed and so bad compared to these ones. These ones are also a little scuffed, but the difference is crazy. And you can see the bottom as well. So Laducas have definitely like gone down in quality over the years, which is really unfortunate because it's a very expensive shoe. Like I got these on sale, but I think it was $230 maybe on sale. They always have like an annual sale in the summer. But yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous. But as a dancer, I feel like these are the most stable shoe for a heel. These ones are a soft sole, so they really let your foot point, which is so nice, and you really want that. And yeah, I feel the most comfortable in these guys. I've really worn these down. These are my favorite to wear. They have so many sparkles. But sometimes I go back to my old ones, even though the strap is like very broken and very stretched out. Sometimes I go back to these ones because I've had these for 6 years now, and they still are very supportive except for the strap. So yeah, when I'm dancing regularly in shows, I think I go through like a pair of Laducas like once a year, except for these ones. These ones made 6 years, which is crazy. They just don't make them like they used to. Sound like an old lady there. The Laduca boots, they're my prized possession. As you can tell, these ones are just a classic. Like if you're going to any musical theater class or an audition, like you're that girl when you have the boots, and they're just so beautiful and just make you feel like a rocket. And I like swear I kick better in these. And as you can tell, it's the same height as the Alexis soft shoe. That they lace up, and they also have a zipper on the side, so I love to keep them laced and just zip up on the side, and your feet just feel so supported up the front and the back with these guys. I just love them so much. They're just so beautiful. I am a ballet teacher, so I teach 5 days a week right now, and that's also intensive, so I like to wear the block ballet shoes. These ones are absolutely disgusting. Like you can see how nasty they get on the back. I'm teaching an intensive next week, so I wanted to get some new fresh shoes. So these are the same shoes. They're block, but look how gross they get just from dancing. And that's it. Like I only wear these in class when I'm teaching or taking class. So they get pretty gross. Next up, I also wear these teaching sometimes. And then I also like to bring these in my bag to auditions because you never know what they might ask of you. So these are my jazz shoes. I've had these forever. And I like the tan ones because I just think they make my feet look longer. I feel like black sometimes like breaks up my point at the end of my foot. But I also like these to teach in because they have like a little bit of lift, and I have plantar fasciitis, which makes it really painful to stand in my ballet shoes sometimes, especially when I'm teaching like 20 hours a week. So can never go wrong with a little jazz shoe in your bag. Now that I live in LA, there's so many heels class options, and I've only been to a couple, but I felt so silly showing up to my first heels class wearing my LaDuca boot. It's a very different vibe. Everyone kind of looked at me like, oh, she's a musical theater girly. But yeah, in LA, these are like the shoes that a lot of people are wearing. Like everyone's in this like open toe, lace up situation, little stiletto. They're very sexy, very, very cute. And honestly, I love dancing in these. They're really supportive. And then when you turn, like you only have like a little bit of releve. So whenever you're turning, you can just boop, put it down at the end, and I feel really supported. So I feel like my turns are actually better in these somehow. I don't know if that makes sense. These ones I don't wear as much, but I have my tap shoes. I am not as much of a tapper, so I actually don't have like a flat tap shoe because I feel like most of the shows I end up tapping in are like an old school, so they're gonna be in heels anyway. And thankfully, the shows that I've tapped in before have provided me with a heel tap shoe. Most of the time it's like a nude tap shoe still. But these are the ones I wear for like practice or things I really need to get back into tapping. It's been a minute, and whenever they ask at tap calls, like, who taps? I always raise my hand because I do have tap experience. It just takes me a while to learn. It's maybe not my strength, but we're working on it. The iconic shoe I trained for years and years to get to as a teenager. I have my pointe shoes. These are my newest pair. I have just bags and bags of used pointe shoes in my closet somewhere from my experience of training. I started on pointe when I was 12. I think I was in 7th grade. My mom put me in a ballet class when I was like maybe 3, and she took me out because I would just cry the whole time and I wouldn't do anything, and I hated it. So then years later, it was like maybe 9, I think we watched like the Nutcracker or something, and I told my mom, I want to be in ballet class. And she was like, we tried this, are you sure about that? But I tried it and I worked really hard. So just a few years later, like 2.5 years later, I was in pointe shoes. And I love ballet. Like, ballet was my first love, and there's nothing that will compare to me for ballet. But with that being said, I would not label myself as a ballerina specifically. I do lots of different styles of dance, but I had the privilege of being in a show that I got to be on pointe for the Christmas season. It was so fun, but I sprained my ankle and I have not recovered from that since. My ankle is not the same. So I haven't actually been in my pointe shoes for a 1.5 years now. And this year I'm actually like taking physical therapy and stuff to try to train my body to be able to go back because I miss it. Ballet is my first love, and I love being on pointe, and there's something so like magical and just like you're in a fairy tale when you're in pointe shoes, even though they hurt like the dickens when I'm In an audition, I might also choose to wear socks or just go barefoot. I was a modern dancer after all, and modern dancers and sometimes contemporary dancers go barefoot a lot. Here's all my shoes I might take to an audition. You can see why I carry around a really big bag to auditions. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.